Having a lot of money in the bank seems like a sign of success, right? Wrong. Here's a truth that goes against everything you've been taught. The more excess money you keep sitting idle, the poorer you become. It sounds crazy, but the Stoics knew this centuries ago. In this video, you'll discover the exact amount that should be in your account, and why exceeding that number is killing your chances of real wealth. The last reason will blow your mind. Let's begin. 1. Having too much money available makes you spend more. Ever noticed how that month when you received a bonus or extra cash was exactly the month you spent the most? There's a financial paradox that few people realize. The more excess money someone keeps available in the bank, the greater the tendency to waste it. It's not a matter of character or discipline, but rather basic human psychology. When you look at your account and see a robust balance, something in your brain interprets that as permission to spend. Yeah, I know what you must be thinking, but having money saved shouldn't be a good thing. Yes, it should, but only if you know how to use it to your advantage. The false security that a high balance provides acts like a silent poison for personal finances. Behavioral research shows that people with a generous financial cushion tend to make impulse buying decisions far more frequently. That grocery store trip that should cost 100 turns into 200 because, after all, the money's there. Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher-emperor, used to reflect on the deceptive nature of appearances and material abundance. He taught that true wealth isn't in what you possess, but in the control you exercise over your own desires. Did you know that having easy access to resources isn't freedom? In fact, it's often a trap. The Stoics understood that financial discipline begins in the mind, not in the wallet. And this is the poor mentality that keeps so many people stuck. By separating money into accounts with specific purposes, one for emergencies, another for medium-term goals, another for daily expenses, you create a mental structure of organization. Each dollar begins to have a clear purpose, and the temptation to spend drastically decreases. 2. Idle money generates no return. Now comes the part that hurts. While you think you're being prudent, keeping all that money in the bank, you're actually losing valuable opportunities every day. Having excess money sitting in your checking account represents an enormous opportunity cost, and most people don't even realize it. It's like planting seeds and never watering them, expecting something to grow. Money that doesn't work for you is, in fact, working against you. Let me tell you a real story. A friend kept $80,000 in his checking account for 2 whole years, afraid to invest. Meanwhile, the market appreciated more than 15% during that period. Know what that means? He literally missed out on earning $12,000 out of pure fear and lack of knowledge. Yes, we all go through this, that fear of losing everything that paralyzes any action. But the inconvenient truth is that staying put is also a choice, and usually the worst one. Seneca, one of the greatest Stoic thinkers, said that time is the only truly irreplaceable asset. The same goes for money. Every day it sits idle is one less day of potential growth. The Stoics teach us that prudence isn't avoiding risks, but rather understanding them and acting with wisdom. Leaving your wealth stagnant in the bank isn't security, it's an illusion of control. The false security of seeing that number on the screen prevents you from seeing reality. Your money is being silently eroded. The solution isn't to become an expert overnight, but rather to take the first step with intelligence. But what if I told you that saving too much might also be a sign of something deeper? 3. The illusion of excess cash. Have you ever stopped to think about why some people accumulate much more money in the bank than they actually need? It's not just about being cautious. Often it's fear disguised as planning. Many people save excess money out of distrust of the system, past financial traumas, or simply because they saw their parents doing it. It's especially common in immigrant families who lived through severe economic crises. But here's the truth nobody wants to hear. Saving too much is as harmful as saving too little. This poor mentality of accumulating without strategy creates a false security that paralyzes smart decisions. It's like building a bunker to protect yourself from a storm that may never come, while letting the main house collapse. The money sits there, sleeping in the bank, generating a sense of protection without actually building anything. Many people confuse caution with financial paranoia. Did you know this has much more to do with emotion than with math? Epictetus, the slave who became a philosopher, taught that true freedom comes from understanding what's under our control and what isn't. Having $50,000 sitting as a precaution when you only need $15,000 for emergencies isn't wisdom. It's anxiety without direction. The line between prudence and paralysis is thin, but extremely important. Accumulating without purpose is just another form of not trusting yourself. The practical recommendation is simple and mathematical. Calculate an emergency reserve based on 3 to 6 months of your essential expenses. Housing, food, basic bills, debts. That's it. If you spend $3,000 a month on essentials, then $9,000 to $18,000 are already more than enough. Everything else should be working in your favor, not rotting in a checking account. But there's another problem that goes beyond how much to save. It has to do with what that idle money is actually losing. 4. Inflation reduces purchasing power. Here's a brutal truth that many people ignore. Money sitting in the bank is losing value every day, and you don't even notice. Inflation is like a silent thief that steals your wealth in slow motion. The money you save today buys much less than it bought a few years ago, but most prefer not to think about it because it hurts to accept that the excess money saved with so much effort is actually shrinking. Let me give you concrete examples that will make you rethink everything. Think about how much your favorite meal at a fast food chain cost 10 years ago. Now compare it with today's price. It probably doubled or is close to it. Gas, used cars, the grocery bill, everything has become significantly more expensive. Yeah, I know what you must be thinking, but that's normal. Prices always go up. Exactly. And that's why leaving money sitting in the bank is a gigantic mistake. Keeping money idle is ignoring reality in the name of a false security that doesn't exist. The poor mentality thinks it's protecting wealth. The rich mentality knows it's losing. The Stoic solution is clear and direct. Invest money in assets that preserve or exceed inflation. Fixed income that tracks indices, real estate that appreciates, stocks of solid companies. There are various ways to protect your wealth. It's not about getting rich overnight, but about not getting poorer over time. Money needs to work at the same pace the economy grows, or you fall behind without even realizing it. But there's something even worse than losing purchasing power. It's thinking you're doing well when you're actually stagnant. 5. The false sense of financial intelligence. You know that good feeling of looking at your bank statement and seeing a robust balance? Well, it might be completely deceiving you. Many people feel financially good just by seeing a large number on their phone screen. They think they're on the right track, that they're responsible, that they've finally made it. But here's the uncomfortable truth. Having excess money accumulated in the bank isn't wealth building. It's just stagnation with the appearance of progress. This is one of the most common mistakes of poor mentality disguised as financial prudence. There's even a term in psychology for this, the Dunning-Kruger effect, which shows how people with little knowledge in a certain area tend to overestimate their own competence. In the financial context, this means that someone with $50,000 sitting in the bank might think they're a financial genius, when in reality, they're just letting money rot. Did you know that true investors don't even look much at their checking account balance? They look at total net worth, at working assets, at real growth. The Stoics were masters at unmasking illusions, and the false security of a high bank balance is exactly that, a comforting illusion. Having idle money can make you feel rich, but it doesn't make you rich. It's like having seeds stored in the closet and considering yourself a farmer. It makes no sense when you really think about it. The difference between someone who accumulates and someone who builds wealth lies in mentality and action. While one is content seeing numbers grow slowly or not grow at all, the other understands that each dollar has a strategic role in the financial game. It's not about arrogance or taking unnecessary risks. It's about having clarity to recognize that accumulating without purpose leads nowhere. And if you think you've understood everything so far, get ready. There's an ideal amount that should be in the bank, and it's probably much less than you imagine. So, what's the ideal amount to keep in the bank? The answer is simple. Your emergency reserve, calculated based on 3 to 6 months of essential expenses, plus the money needed for your very short-term goals. That's it. All the surplus should be invested or being used strategically to build real wealth. Separate your accounts by purpose, automate monthly transfers to investments, and review everything every 3 months. It doesn't need to be complicated, but it needs to be intentional. You can continue seeing that high balance and feeling a false security, or you can wake up to the reality that your money is working against you while sitting idle in the bank. The decision is yours, but remember, each day that passes is a lost opportunity. If this video brought you value, like it, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who's rethinking the way they deal with money. Stay on the path to prosperity. Until we meet again.